Garratt, the poetry editor at the Missouri Review, and I thought I'd give you a little tour of our offices. Follow me. This is our main office where your manuscripts first come. This is Emily Wunderlich, our office assistant.
I enter your manuscripts into the computer and I open them from the mail and I answer all of your questions on our email inbox. So these are the first hands to touch your manuscript after you put them in the mail.
And over here we have Deidre Earle, who is the office manager.
Deidre answers all the questions that everyone in the entire office has.
There we go.
So after your manuscripts arrive, Deidre and Emily put them into bundles of 10, and then they go to the mailroom, which is right across the hall. Hi, here's our mailroom, and this is Katy.
Hello, this is the mailroom. This is where the bundles come after they've been sorted through the mail. And we readers come in here to find your manuscripts, and they're neatly arranged in this filing system. And this is where the fiction comes, and this is where the poetry comes. And so we do not lose your manuscripts. We take very good care of them, and we actually have tracking sheets. We have a whole system to make sure that we keep good track of all of your submissions. And if I were to check out this bundle, I make a copy. And I sign my name so they know who has what, and they can double check. And again, this is all to make sure that we keep good care of your submissions.
So now we'll show you where we have our meetings every week, where we discuss, well, where the poetry meetings happen, and where we discuss the poems we found that week, and pass them and discuss them. Catherine, she's our web editor, leaving for the day. Okay, let's go upstairs to the meeting. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So this is where we meet every week to talk about the poetry submissions, and I thought we could talk a little bit about what kinds of things what sort of issues we face in reading, in our readings and in our discussions of the readings. So, for example, if you're reading something that's been passed to you during the week, what kinds of things let you know that that a submission is working or that it's exciting to you?
Well, when I've been passed something by one of my esteemed fellow readers, the first thing that I try to do is observe the notes that it's come with and the recommendation that it's come with when you guys have passed it to me, to kind of internalize that a little bit, and then hopefully throw it away and give the poems as fresh a read as I can before I come back to it, so that I feel like I'm reading with purpose, but I'm also looking at it from my own perspective. I never read into the submissions that you guys pass to me as if my reading didn't matter, or my kind of perspective didn't matter. So yeah, I just try to blend the two aspects, knowing that it's been passed by somebody whose knowledge and aesthetics I respect, and also whose knowledge and aesthetics is different from mine.
And it's also important, I think, that an important thing to remember as editors is that we're sort of reading to find accepts. We're not reading. I mean, it's easy, I think, because of the volume of submissions. It's easy to think, just sort of read in that mode where you're scanning and you're sort of half paying attention. But we really try here to not read that way. To read because we're looking for things to accept, rather than things to sort of pass off. Okay, reject, reject, reject.
The first thing I listen for is music, and to make sure that the lines are working well, and that whoever wrote the poems is handling their subject matter well. I really like an interesting subject in the poem, but I think above all, it has to do with the sound.
The sound is very important, but for me, that's only one aspect of urgency that a poem can have is the sound of and the line breaks and the movement of the poem. But it has to be in service for me of maybe compelling voice or a kind of roving consciousness or something, and so the sound, of course, has to be there because otherwise the poem's going to be boring. It's going to be prose-ish and fall flat. But I would have a hard time. I would have a hard time, and I don't know if you would, with a poem that it foregrounds the sound. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I certainly don't want to say that sound is the only thing that matters, but it's one of the first things that matters. It's sort of like the one of the first things I encounter in a poem that can turn me on to it or not. I think that I do like some foregrounded sound sometimes, where I'll give a poem a lot more leeway if it sounds great. And definitely, like I was saying too, subject matter. How do you guys?
Yeah, what are some of
Yeah,
our
what do you
subject
think
matters
about-
that we
Yeah.
particularly like?
Sure, look at the guy who's
Do we both just go, Marc?
Well, do any of the poems that you like actually have subject matter? Well, I think that's I think that subject is subject in a lot of the poems that I like. Although I will say that and I think we have an interesting linkage, I think, between each of the things. I think I'm almost starting to think of us over the course of this conversation as being less oppositional and more just like part of the same Frankensteinian creature, the poetry selector, like because
On the heart.
Right. Well, yeah.
Or the mind.
What does that mean? So, yeah. Well, if you're the mind, then are we like fighting over the heart? And
I don't know. I'm whatever's hungry.
Right. The gut.
With the ear.
Oh,
With
I'll be
ears.
the ear.
Yeah.
The hungry
mouth.
ear. I'm the hungry ear.
I don't know necessarily what body part I would treat myself with as the reader, but
The imagination. Something you have
certainly the imagination, and so I guess the subject matter that I'm drawn to most over the last couple of years is something that's able to navigate the personal and the social without losing sight of the social. I'm less and less drawn to poems that exist in a state that seems to me in reading it to be bound by personal experience. I'm more interested in poems that are able to explore personal experience as it is ineluctably connected to the experience of both the social and sometimes the natural world, although I think that other people have better ears and eyes and minds for that kind of poetry than I do. The poetry that I tend to is usually more urban and more kind of, I don't know, talky, ambulatory. But it definitely has to do with being able to see linkage between the collective and the